Hi everyone, welcome to Watercolor Bible Journaling, and this is part 2 of the Build My Life set. So this group of windows, we are going to go on and do the second page. So in the first video, we did the right hand side, we created this side, and now we are going to tackle the left hand side. So I've gone ahead and drawn in my pencil lines so that I can mirror this image here. So it looks like the wall continues across, and the same for the bottom. So I've also done that. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we're going to use the same set. So this set, we're also going to use the same flowers and foliage from these two sets. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to just use one of the windows this time, the small one. And the reason I'm going to do that is I want to leave space to write. So I don't necessarily want to take up this whole margin with an image. So that's up to you too. You can leave as much as you like. So that you have space to write. Okay, so I'm going to ink this image and I'm going to use my positioner, and I want to make sure that I stamp it the same height as this one. So I want it to look like it's right across from the other one. So I'm going to just measure down with my ruler, and it looks like it's 2 inches just to the bottom of the little arch here. So I can make a little dot, a little mark with my pencil at about 2 inches right there, and then I'm going to stamp this with my on my positioner, or use my positioner to stamp this. So here's my little L bar. Get my little plexiglass. So here it is right here. So I'm going to just ink this in 2 colors. So the dark blue and the brown. So the brown first. And then the dark blue over the top. And then I'm just going to stamp it on my positioner so that I can line it up. And I can see, okay, that is right at the right level, and I'm going to just move it so that it's in the center of my margin. So that looks good right there. And I can just hop on it and just evenly stamp it in there. Okay, so that looks good. So we're going to just, like I said, we're going to just create something really simple on this side. I always like to leave the more complex image on one side and then do something simple on the other. Sometimes you might want to come back later and just add some comments or some notes in here, and so I want to make sure we leave enough space for that. So I'm going to now dip my brush in water and just pull the color out of the lines just like we did on the other one. Just going to drag this color out. And make sure your brush isn't too wet. Okay, that looks good. And now we're going to take this color now and drag it to the outside. So just pull this color out. It's going to create a really nice background effect. And if we just kind of brush a little of this color out, we can kind of create a little shadow here and back in here. Okay, that looks good. So let's go ahead and add some color in here. We're going to do that from a palette. So I'm going to take some of this dark blue, put that on my palette, and then create some blue in here for the sky, just like we did on the other side. And again, we're just gonna probably not see any ground. We're just gonna see the sky and maybe some clouds. And that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and add our vines and our foliages in here. So we're gonna go back to this one and just ink it. And let's kind of bring it from this side. So we're just going to kind of bring it up like this. And then we're going to use the smaller one and just kind of bring it up like this. And now I'm going to take my light green and just put in some vines. And you can just do as much of this as you want. You can just fill this whole page if you want to, but you can keep it really simple too. Okay, that looks good. So let's go ahead and add some water to that and soften that image. Just jump your brush around. You notice my hand is flat on the page, so I'm not stabbing at it. I'm just carefully touching it with my brush. And I'm using the side. And you've got plenty of color on your brush, so go ahead and spread that green around. It's okay to do that. Just going to soften it up even more. Okay, so let's add our flowers in. So here's that little filler flower again. We're going to use that bright purple. Just inking two of these little blooms. And just putting it in wherever we want. You can always come back and add more. You know, the water will activate the ink again later. So you can come back as many times as you want. And just keep adding. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to add my little buds in now. This little branch with buds in it. So I'm going to ink the buds purple. And that little stem green. And just put in a couple of these. Okay, that looks good. Remember, don't touch the stem with your brush, just the little buds. So I'm going to now add some color to my wall. And that is that dark brown. So I'm going to start under here and just add a little shadow under this overhang. And remember, you don't need to color everything in. You don't need to do that. Just the idea of things. And just, you know, keep it light. You can always come back and add more color, so it's always better to just go light. Okay, we are about ready to add our bricks into here, just like we did on the other side. So first I'm going to, I think, just add some, give that a chance to dry a little bit. I'm going to add some sky in here, just like we did on the other side. Can you see that? Move this down. Okay, that looks good. Make sure we got everything blended out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put our Post-it tape down just to make sure that we are not getting that brick clear over to the other side. And then I'm going to cover up that little window, and I'll just use the same mask I had from before. So now I've protected that window, and I'm going to remember to stamp that off. So we don't want it too dark. So we're going to ink this up now. Just ink this whole thing up. And I'm just going to stamp that off so that I don't have it too dark, and then just stamp it in here. And let me just do it one more time. Ink that again. And just take that color, the majority of that color off. We can get one more in here. Perfect. So now we can remove that mask. And we've got our wall in here finished, and we've left plenty of space to write notes and add more detail to it later if we want to. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Try it. It's really, really simple and really, really fun to do this technique with the bricks. You'll be able to use that in a lot of different projects too. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again with a new project.